Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is already August the 20th, which is crazy. Kind of looked up yesterday and was like, oh, got a webinar tomorrow. So had no clue. It was already the third Wednesday of August. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. We got a bunch of really pertinent items to go over. But I kind of stuck the fun stuff in at the beginning. And that's in large part because we have Nolan Pierce with Reminder Media on with us today. And I want to make sure that you guys get to hear everything that he has to say. It's going to be part of our branding opportunities in this presentation. We're also going to go over the carrier shakeup in Georgia. If you live in Georgia, if you sell in Georgia, all I can do is say I'm sorry, and we're here to help. But we'll go over that here in a little bit. Last minute items you can do for AEP prep, along with some compliance reminders and what to expect out of these plans in 2026, and really kind of the landscape moving forward. So we'll go ahead and jump right in with our branding opportunities. You guys know I've been preaching it for a couple years now. Your brand is absolutely your business card. And we have some great new ways for you to get brand recognition, not only to attract new clients, but also to retain your current client base. And that is a huge key in growing your business. You can't grow your business if you constantly have to chase after your current clients. So if we give you a couple different ways to keep your name and your brand in front of your clients, it should make life a little bit easier. One of those ways is with Reminder Media. And I'm not going to steal Nolan's thunder. I'm actually going to hand it right over to him. And Nolan is going to tell you all the opportunities that are available with Reminder Media.
Awesome. Thanks, Courtney. Thanks for having me in here. And thanks to all you guys who are here. And I know some of you might be watching this later. I appreciate your time to get to know us. So Courtney and I met yesterday over the phone, and I think one of your colleagues has been using us for a little while. And Courtney was poking around at this and thought, hey, this might actually be interesting to kind of get out to the rest of the group. And so, yeah, we're glad that today worked out. So if you've never heard of us, which is very likely, we've done a lot of our stuff through grassroots. Here's some quick background. Our company is called Reminder Media. We've been around for 20 years now. Actually, I think this month is 21. I got to check the exact date, but it's 04 we started sometime in the early fall. So been around for a while. We work with clients all over the country, tens of thousands of them, and lots of different fields. Okay, so that makes my job very interesting because I'll chat with you guys about how we're helping protect our clients with our insurance policies, and then I'll talk to someone else about their business coaching and a realtor and a financial advisor. And so the model works because most of what we are trying to do is help you grow your business through the relationship connecting. And so what I mean by that is you guys, I mean, you know this, lots of competition, lots of other people out there in a similar space. And what we've seen is, you know, there's kind of different ways to try to grow your business. You can be the agent that's trying to scream the loudest that you get the lowest rate and you can offer the best services. But I would say what we see is really the trump card in the insurance industry right now, across any types of policy, is the relationship side. If you've got people that know you, they like you, they trust you, you feel more like a person than just someone that writes a policy and disappears, then that leads to a lot of good things. Just like Courtney said, that leads to you not having to constantly fight and scratch and claw for renewals, but they tend to come a little bit easier. And we also think of referrals. We think of word of mouth, that you, again, aren't just write a policy, but you're a person that policyholder looks at and says, hey, if there's other folks in my position, I should send them to David. I should get them connected with Danielle because they made my life so much easier to get all this ready. Good. That's the kind of thing we want. There's a great book out there. It's an old book now, but it's called How to Create Raving Fans. I don't know if any of you have ever read that, but a lot of the principles there are, hey, if you're willing to go above and beyond for the client, if you almost surprise them with the level of service and connection, you're going to create people that don't just stay with you, but tell other people about you. And that's a really, really good way to grow your business. So really today, I'm going to probably highlight one tool primarily that we've seen very, very effective for our insurance agents over the last couple of decades. and it is our pretty branded magazines. Okay, so there's a few different options. We actually have 4 different publications that we create. This is the one that most of our insurance agents see the most benefit from. The other ones you can see here, the only difference is the articles. So I can pull up any of these you guys want to see, but they're all the same length and price and everything, just different topics. Okay, so I'll flip through one of these. Here's the value proposition for you guys. There's a lot of things you can send out. I want to give some of your clients at least something that lasts and that really does get noticed. So I'm not, please hear what I'm saying. I'm not against you sending emails. That'd be silly. I'm not against you using postcards or social media. I think all those things have their place, okay? Especially when you're trying to reach a broad audience. When you have certain people that you want to go above and beyond for, whether it's a recent client, really loyal client, someone who's referred you, you guys will know those targets you have. It's nice to have something in your tool belt that stands out in their mind, okay? So that's what this publication's for. Just so this is clear, sometimes this gets lost. This is a hard copy, 48-page magazine that we produce. It's not just on the screen. So the drill is anywhere you see this guy, Joseph, that's where we're going to put all your shining, smiling faces. Okay, so it's right there. Very obvious when someone gets it who this is coming from. Okay. Then there's about 30 different cover options. We're doing some things right now to support breast cancer awareness. Not to make this sound bad, you don't have to do that. There's tons of other options you could pick from. So you could find something that fits your style. When they open this up, right on the inside of the front cover, there's a letter to the recipient. And that could say whatever you want. One of the cool little details is we'll put all their names at the top. And you can even customize this differently for different people. You don't have to. Takes a little bit extra time to do it, obviously. But if you want to personalize that, you can. So that's kind of a nice detail. Then there's a couple of these tear out cards. So there's one in the front. I'll show you guys here. One in the back as well. Those are just like little perforated cards, okay? They could be anything. They could be like just a fun recipe. They could be a call to action. They could be deadlines coming up with open enrollment. They could be an invitation to an educational event, whatever you think would fit, whatever you want to do, we'll help get that stuff in place, all right? And then the idea behind the content of the magazine, there are no other advertisers. So this isn't like you're taking out space with 12 other businesses. It's all content we think, hey, they're actually going to enjoy this. And it's not all about insurance. We have tried that and they didn't want it. It felt like it was just too much to read and too business oriented. We wanted something that felt a little bit more like a gift, where this isn't only talking about policies and coverages and updates, but there's just stuff they like, things they enjoy inside. All right, so that's kind of a feel for what goes in. Obviously, the quality we don't skimp on. It's 48 pages. So our team does a great job with all this. All right, let me skip to the back. I want to highlight one last thing. The entire back cover inside and out is yours. And so we could really do anything you'd like here. We could put reviews that you've gotten, deadlines they need to know about, QR codes, the book consultation with you, pictures of your puppy, okay, whatever you guys want to run with, we'll help. But all of these areas that I'm showing you, we're going to help you out one-on-one. So we give you templates, we give you an assistant. It's pretty easy to put together. But the end result is you're going to have something that looks really top tier in terms of how you reach out to your people. Okay, so I'm going to pause there for just a sec. I'll go over the pricing. That's always the first question I get from everybody. Aside from that, you can unmute, you can holler out. I think you guys will be able to shout. I don't know if unmute capabilities are working here, but yep. If you can they talk to, or is it like a mute for everybody?
They sure can. Nope, they Sweet. Can come off mute and have at it.
All right, I don't bite. So talk to me. What kind of questions might you guys have in terms of how this works, or the timing, or the articles, or anything at all? What do you guys got?
So I think, Nolan, when we talked, the timing was every 2 months. The issues change. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, every 2 months we have a new issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't put a date on them so that depending on when if you haven't hit like the last week of September, by October, it's not going to look old. It'll just say like issue 46, like you're seeing here. Mm-hmm. And the print deadlines are fluid. So if David wants his to go out at a certain time and Deborah wants hers to go out 2 weeks later, that's no big deal. It's not like there's only a certain day of the month that we're printing. Yeah.
Is there a cost to the magazine?
Sorry, Shashu, I could hear it. I couldn't quite hear your whole question. Can you say that again?
Is there a cost to the magazine?
Yeah. I'll go over the cost in just a minute. Most people are pleasantly surprised with that. So I'll break that down in just a sec. Yep. Anything else besides that? Any other questions, guys? All right, cool. I got somebody else in the Q&A say pricing. So good. All right, let's jump into the cost. That's what people want to know. So there's a couple things that go into the numbers. I think I've got this pulled up here. So, and I'm going to work out a little deal. I told Courtney yesterday when we were talking, we're going to do a group rate for you guys. So here's the skinny. When you first start working with us, there's a setup fee. Because we're getting to meet with you guys and this is going to be sent out, we're getting some great exposure here. Anybody that's a part of your group, we're cutting, don't pay the full $299. Okay, you're going to see that on our website if you Google us. Let me know. My info is right there. I can make that even bigger for you. Anybody in your group will do it for 99 bucks. So just let me know. We'll make sure we honor that for you. What that cost covers is you get an assistant from my team. So anything that you need in terms of setup, you have help. You also get exclusive rights of the mailing list. So nobody else can send this to the same people. And well, if you want, we'll set up a landing page for you as well. I think I have a sample of this. Well, I'll pull it up in a minute. But if you want to put like a QR code to capture leads, I know you guys have your own capability to do that in-house. We could set up an alternative page if you'd like. Okay, I gotta get a drink because I'm choking. All right. Sorry about that. Then we charge per magazine. It's $4.99 a piece, and that is everything else. So that's all the customization, printing, postage, shipping, delivery. I say this every time. It is less expensive than a Hallmark card. All right, and you get your own magazine done. You don't have to lick a bunch of envelopes. And our minimum's 50. So this is where you guys can really strategize who you want to hit. Some people that work with us have them all sent out to their client base or their sphere. That's great. Some people do a bit of that, and then they want some delivered to themselves for when they're going to meet people, if they want to drop it off in a local business to get exposure there. You could do all kinds of things with it. So that's your call. But if we do 50 copies, $4.99 each, you're at 250 bucks. And that's paid at the time of the printing. So we would set everything up. And then when you're ready for us to print, usually we need a week or so. That's when you pay for them. The only note on that, I know you guys are thinking of open enrollment. We do need almost a month of lead time, sometimes a month and maybe a couple days. So I would just say if you're interested, this is when we get really busy to get all that done so we can help launch into that season well. And the commitment's one mailing. So we just say, hey, try it once. This is a great time. Obviously, a lot of you are ramping up your marketing in the next few months. If you love what we're doing, great. There is a new issue every 2 months. So you could use this throughout the year consistently. If you just want to do it once to launch into open enrollment and then stop, you're totally free to do that. But it does give you a really nice step up to try out and see what we've been doing for the last 20 years. All right. There's one other little bonus I'm going to mention to you guys. Anything else? Any other questions? Now that you know we're not crazy on the cost, anything else I can clarify for you?
Can you share your information with us so we can contact you at a later date?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's, I don't know if you can see the screen if you're driving. I can send this out via email to Courtney too, but it's right there. So that's my direct phone number, 484-370-8443. You got my email. So yeah, please feel free to reach out. Happy to connect with you guys one-on-one too. Anything else? I'm going to give you one last cherry on top, guys. Any other questions that I can answer for you? All right. So here's what I'll leave you with. If you're interested, if this sounds like, hey, that might actually be something worth trying out, do something a little different, you can either text me and let me know, or you can take your phone out and you can scan this QR code. What I've learned is over the years, you guys are busy people this time of year. And so there's a decent chance we could get forgotten. And so the deal we do is anybody that reaches out today or tomorrow, we'll throw in an extra 15 free magazines on the first mailing. So nothing crazy. It's like 75 bucks worth of credit, but that's a really nice little cherry on top for not procrastinating. All right. So if you're interested, let me know. We'd love to see how we can help you guys out. But that's it. Otherwise, like I said, Courtney, Brandon, thanks again for making some time. I hope this has been helpful for all you guys and look forward to seeing who we can help out here this fall. All right.
Thank you, Nolan. I really appreciate it, guys. If you are joining us at our rollout tour, you will see the NCC version of this magazine. We've signed on with Reminder Media to have some NCC magazines available to everybody at the rollout tour. I think you'll be very impressed with quality, as well as the tear-outs and the advertising that you get for the price. So, Nolan, thank you again, and we will be in touch soon, sir.
Sounds great. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, guys. That is our first newest way to us, as a way to advertise yourself and your brand. I will be honest, I saw an agent in Greenville, South Carolina, who was using their Start Healthy magazine. And I had some time yesterday to Google and see where she got this magazine, which is how I stumbled upon Nolan. And it's a fantastic idea for what I feel is a very reasonable price. It is also something that your marketing assistance program with National Contracting Center can reimburse you for. So please remember that. Another option is the Register Tape Network. So I try to avoid stores at all costs at this point, but that's just because of life and scheduling and everything like that. But when you do go to a store, like if you go to your local Kroger, your local Dollar General, you usually end up getting a receipt, and on the back of that receipt are a bunch of advertisements. The Registered Tape Network is who does those. They are really big at those two stores that I just mentioned, along with many others, but those are your two bigger national brands, Dollar General and Kroger. I will tell you the prices are very affordable. They do go up and down depending on how many stores you would want to advertise in. I can't tell you it's something that's going to get you immediate results, but we do have agents working with them. I have a realtor friend of mine who is working with them, and she is definitely getting noticed. And that's half the key of branding yourself. So I think that the Register Tape Network is another great option. They do have you pay like 3 months up front, and I think it ends up being somewhere around like the 250 mark for 3 months. And it doesn't matter how many times the receipts print out. So keep that in mind. If you're able to find a really busy location, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck. If it is somewhere where you are using other versions of advertising, it's probably going to work out just a little bit better for you. But another great way to stay top of mind to people who are in your immediate area or areas that you're trying to expand your client base into. So again, that's the Registered Tape Network. On social media and streaming channels, you are also able to advertise. And I want to lean on Brandon a little bit for more of the social media part, but if you've ever streamed through Paramount Plus, you've seen the advertisements. You can do that. You can do that for a very minimal cost. Cost per advertising start as low as $250 per month. They go clear up, past about $1,500 right in there, depending on how many impressions that you want to have, the time in which you want your advertisements to run, in the areas in which you want them to be advertised. So the more you're looking for, the more expensive it's going to be. But it's still a heck of a lot cheaper than trying to advertise through your local cable network. And Brandon, if you want to talk a little bit more about the social media advertising, I know enough about it to be dangerous, so I'll leave that one up to you.
Yeah, this is another channel that is available to you. So when we talk social media, this is outside of the regular just posting and having events on your Facebook channel or maybe an Instagram account. This is actually running ads on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube potentially. And this is a little bit more in depth. So you do have to have a business account set up. There is a cost to this. I'll be honest, they've changed their amount here recently, and I don't know exactly what an average amount is right now. But if you are interested in that, we do have some team members here on our marketing team that specialize in Facebook ads. So we can definitely get you set up to take a look at that. And what that does is that you create an ad and you set parameters for the target audience that you're looking at. Let's say we're targeting 65 to 70-year-olds on Facebook, right? Because we know that that is a huge demographic on Facebook. What you would do is then run that ad. And so as they're scrolling through their feed, your ad would pop up. If you've ever been on Facebook or on Instagram and you noticed something that was a little bit different than what you're normally seeing, usually if you look in the top left corner, I believe, on Facebook, and maybe the bottom right on Instagram, I believe, you probably will see sponsored. And what that is that's an ad. Somebody has sponsored that ad to show up on your feed. So people are doing it to you, so you might as well take advantage of it as well. So you can do that to promote yourself. You can do it to promote an activity that you're doing. We run ads at National Contracting Center as we get closer to AEP, as we are starting our rollout tours. We will actually start running ads to get folks to notice our rollout events so that they can sign up from there. We've done it for our webinars that we've done. So it's definitely a way to get out in front of many more people than what you would normally. You know, Courtney, one thing that when you were talking about the streaming networks and the ads that pop up there, one thing that hit me that I haven't thought about until just now. I listen to a lot of podcasts. There's advertisements, local advertisements that pop up on some of these podcasts that I'm pretty sure I'd have to do a little bit of digging on it, but I'm pretty sure we could look into how we could create an ad that would be a read on a podcast. So if somebody has a podcast that has a pretty good reach, you would then solicit an ad to them. They would then read it on their podcast. You would write the copy, they read it, and then it goes to their audience. So if there are podcasts out there that have a audience that is the demographic that we're looking for, whether you're soliciting ACA, whether you're soliciting Medicare, all of that, that might be an avenue to look down as well.
I love that. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to get off this webinar and I'm going to call over to Grant and see what he knows about that. So,
Absolutely.
these are all some great ways just to get your name out there. The way that you stay local on things like Facebook's is geo-targeting. And that is exactly the amount of knowledge that I have on that. So if you want more information on geo-targeting, please reach out to your sales development manager. They'll get you in touch with our marketing department. Somebody who actually knows about social media will definitely be in touch and get you that information. But you can drill down to even like a square mile range around a particular location.
Mhm.
So lots of things to think about there. And while younger people do listen to podcasts a lot more often, I know my mother, who is of Medicare age, and she'd probably kill me if she was listening to this and just heard that, but it's true. So she's, in her very early 70s. She listens to podcasts all the time. So you would be amazed at the reach of people who are listening to podcasts. Now, of course, the subjects are going to vary. So you would definitely want to get something that is geared to an older audience versus, something that I might listen to, Brandon, yourself, etc. But it's pretty easy to do some research behind that.
Yeah, I was going to say on the podcast thing, that would be it would be topic sensitive, right? So when you look at I believe, if I remember right, there's well over 1.5 million some odd podcasts just on Apple Podcasts alone. So the demographics, you can drill down into specifically what topic you want to do. You probably wouldn't want to focus on uh, pop culture or something like that, but you might find, I know there's several out there that are, that I noticed when my dad was alive, he listened to, and he was 65 to 69 when he was listening to them. But it was topics that he was interested in. So woodworking, other stuff that he was interested in, and he would hear ads on all sorts of stuff. So in that vein, just like Courtney was talking about with the local geofencing for Facebook ads, you can actually narrow down in your podcast as far as what topic, who you want, how long you want the ad to be, when you want it on, that type of thing. So we definitely it's a new avenue that we can look into, and I'm sure there's a ton of what's the word I'm trying to say, options. There's another word that it'll hit me later, and I'll just blurt it out. So if I speak a word here in a minute, that's what it is. But the flexibility of it is huge. And there's a comment in the Q&A that's absolutely correct, that doing this could be another thing. We're specifically talking Medicare now, but think about it also if you're doing ACA, if you're doing life insurance, it is a way to reach a younger audience on other products, ancillary products, hospital indemnity, short-term care, dental, vision, hearing. I mean, we can mold these things to whatever you offer to help you grow any part of your business.
That's absolutely true. And I think you'd be amazed at, just the amount of people alone who listen to Dateline podcasts. So young, old, it doesn't really matter. For some reason, everybody is interested in stuff like that. I think it just makes us feel better about life in general somehow. But yeah, so keep those in mind as some really cost-effective, great ways to do some advertisements. And our last one we're going to point out today is referrals. And you're probably sitting there like, well, I always ask for referrals. Well, that's great. Have you ever asked your client if you could put a sign in their yard? So there are some people who are definitely not going to like that. My grandfather would have rather I don't even know. He probably would have paid for a billboard for somebody versus putting a sign in his yard. But he was that get off my lawn type of guy. But there are a lot of your clients who are more than happy to allow you to put in a small yard sign in their yard. Help or Brendan Hall helped me with my Medicare. Call him. Something like that. The yard signs are insanely cost effective. And it's something that, again, if it's seen enough, people are going to be like, wow, that's a really good insurance agent. He's helping a lot of people. You guys all have kind of like your own little area that you are the go-to insurance person for. And if you're just getting started, I promise, as long as you're out there trying, you're going to have that as well. But those yard signs, those are tiny billboards all over the place. So even if only 1 in every 3 clients let you put up, the worst they're going to say is no. The best they're going to say is yes. And you can even offer to come pick it up after 30 days, or they can take it down whenever they want. But just a very interesting way to use your referral clients to help you boost your business even more. Same thing goes for business to business partnerships. If you are working with the PNC agency to do their Medicare, ask them to leave your business cards, leave your flyers, post your flyer on their window if they have a brick and mortar. So be a little bit more bold about what you're asking for. I promise no is the worst answer you're going to get. And a lot of the times it's going to be, sure, I don't care, go ahead. So just think about referrals in a different light and use them as a bigger advertising piece, not just, 1 or 2 friends here and there. I really think you'll be impressed at how well that works out for you. Anybody want to come off a mute and tell us what's working for you as far as how you're advertising, what you're doing to build your brand?
So one thing I've used that has been with my customers for about 10 years, it never leaves them. And they get old after a while, and it's one of the cheapest things you could do. And they still call me after years, is a magnet on the refrigerator. Because everyone has their grandkids and pictures of Jesus and all kinds of stuff on the refrigerator. So I just put a magnet on a refrigerator. Simple, it's cheap. And I actually spend the extra dollars to get a good magnet, not just the cheap stuff. And it's a little bigger than a business card. And it works wonders. It's people call me years later.
I love that. And that's a great way for them to, keep you top of mind. So when they have an insurance question, they look at the fridge, there's Scott, and they give you a call. I really like that.
And I usually say, I'm not important as Jesus, and I'm not important as your grandkids, but I am important. I'm on the bottom, but give me a call. And there's a picture of me with it, so they know what I look like when they leave. Because sometimes, 10 years ago, they don't know, who I am. So that's kind of my sales speech, and they love it. And I actually put it on the refrigerator. I don't just give it to them, and I make sure it's on there correctly. So then it doesn't go away.
I like that. Thanks for sharing. All right, well, what you're looking at now are all the items that come in are event in a box. So when you're working with your sales development manager and they're giving you some ideas, these are all our most ordered pieces of collateral. They are fantastic if you are doing educational events, if you are out there doing fairs or community events, if you're working at a food pantry, anything, any place where you're able to set up a table. This is the exact material that you need for success. So we're able to help you order and design a 6-foot pop-up floor banner, a table runner. So it's not this huge tablecloth. It's just a table runner. And the reason for that is in the events that we do at National Contracting Center for agent recruiting, we learned that the first thing to get torn up is the tablecloth. But if you put a table runner over top your tablecloth, it's going to last a lot longer. It's going to be something that's a lot more manageable. And that way you can also customize your tablecloth to the time of year, the event, etc. So it gives you a lot more flexibility versus an entire tablecloth. You'll also get a tabletop sign, flyers, business cards, and most importantly, the consent to contact cards. So everything on here keeps your event extremely compliant. It allows you to capture leads. And these are something that when they're all done with your brand in mind, in that brand continuity, make you look super professional, very trustworthy, and they're just going to push your event success to the next level. Any questions?
Courtney, I will say,
Yeah.
as you're working with your sales development manager, if you have logos or a headshot or you have brand colors, let them know, because as Courtney mentioned earlier, these are customizable, so we can customize them to your business, right? So for NCC, we've done this, and it's NCC's brand. It's got our logo, our colors, our accent colors, all of that. But if you've worked with them already and you've got a logo, or if you've worked with another company and designed a logo, let them know, because they can put that on these flyers, these cards, and we can make them in your colors as well. So you'll notice that there's a couple different dark blues or blacks. Those are just generic colors so that we can mend those pretty quick in our editing software to make them whatever color you want. And they'll work with our marketing department. She'll work with you to what's the best color scheme that's going to work, because sometimes there's colors that do work and some that don't. And so if you have questions, feel free to reach out to your sales development managers, and they can get with Megan in our marketing department and get that created for you.
Miss Wells, did you have a question?
I did. I was wondering, is there a price for the marketing and the event in the box?
So there's all types of different price options. So if you do you have a sales development manager at NCC?
I believe I do. I haven't spoke with her yet, but I believe I do.
Okay. Well, after this call, I'm going to personally get you in touch with your sales development manager. We'll reach out, see how we can help you out, and we'll give you a price based on exactly what you're looking for. These are all insanely affordable. I want to say everything on here, and it's like 500 flyers, 500 business cards, 500 consent to contacts. I think it all comes in somewhere around $350. But again, based on your personal needs and everything, we might be able to get that down a little bit more as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, that's definitely the fun stuff, the stuff that you're going to want to do for AEP. Here's kind of the downer of the day. And it's Sonder Health. So Sonder Health is a regional Medicare Advantage carrier, and I said should have said was a regional Medicare Advantage carrier in the state of Georgia. Unfortunately, all their plans are ending, and they end on September 31st. If your client is not enrolled in a different plan by September 31st for either a 9/1 effective if you enroll them in August or a 10/1 effective if you enroll them in September, those clients will revert back to original Medicare. If they were on a D-SNP plan and have full Medicaid, they will also have Medicaid available. People with Medicaid will be placed onto a drug plan. If your client does not have Medicaid, they will not be auto-enrolled onto a drug plan. So there is a potential, if you had clients with Sonder Health, that your clients will not have coverage come 10/1. Please don't let that happen. If you need your book of business from Sonder and you're contracted underneath the national contracting hierarchy, please reach out to me. I will send that book of business over to you. We want to do the best that we can for these clients. This was something that was not expected. So we want to make sure that we do reach out. Sonder Health has about 23,000 lives covered in the state of Georgia. All those people were either on a D-SNP or a C-SNP plan. So please make this very important. We just dumped the press release into the chat as well. So if you'd like to read more about the why and the other important dates behind this, please do that. If you have any questions, myself, Rachel, any member of the National Contracting Center staff, we'll all be happy to help you get answers to your questions and make sure that you're doing the best that you can for your clients. So Brandon, we're going to move on. We're going to skip over this. We're done being Debbie Downer. And we're gonna help you prepare your A game for AEP. So if you live in Georgia, you're getting a little AEP prep with the Sonder stuff that's going on. But we want to make sure that everybody is ready for 2026 AEP. And one of my biggest suggestions is please go to the rollout meetings. Please attend the National Contracting Center meeting, not just because we love seeing you guys, but because we're going to give you a ton of great information. In those big rollout meetings that the FMOs put on, they're going to help you decide what carrier meetings are going to be most important to you. And you want to make sure that you go to some of these carrier meetings this year because a lot is changing. You're going to see a lot of different plan designs. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But getting that nitty-gritty knowledge direct from the carrier, as well as tips on how to deal with it from your FMO, that's going to really start out your AEP on a high note because you're going to be comfortable with your knowledge level and you're going to be comfortable passing that on to your client. And that's half the battle in sales. The next thing that you want to do is start talking to your clients now. Don't let the first person they hear from be some fly-by-night call center. Don't let the first person that they hear from be some mailer that comes to them advertising AEP and trying to scare them into reaching out to somebody else. Start your client outreach now. Don't be afraid to give them a call. Let them know that they're going to start getting even more phone calls, even more mail, but that you're there to help them. That's really all people want. They just want some peace of mind and knowing that if they have a question, somebody is there to talk to. Like Scott said, you know, a small fridge magnet, a phone call is just like that, but it's something that you're personally doing the outreach for. If you have an administrative assistant, let them make the phone calls for you. But make sure that you're starting to talk to your clients through email, phone, snail mail, whatever it is. Start that outreach now. A, so that they remember you. B, so that they're even more comfortable with you. And most importantly, so that they don't call the 800 numbers. They don't answer their phone and give out information to somebody that they don't know. And they know that if they have any questions, their trusted insurance advisor is definitely going to be there. You're also going to want to get familiar with your e-apps. A huge part and benefit of being contracted with National Contracting Center is our ability to help you troubleshoot certain things. 98% of application issues that we help agents troubleshoot are from paper apps. So please save yourself the trouble. None of us write as neat as we think we do. E-apps are going to take away a lot of errors, and they're going to make sure that everything is legible, all your boxes are checked, all your I's dotted, T's crossed, etc. They're also going to give you some really helpful hints along the way, making doctor lookups, drug lookups, scope of appointments, health risk assessments. Everything's a lot more accessible when you're using those e-apps. So please make sure that you're familiar with those. Brandon does a great job on our Enrollment Central training. So if you need something from that standpoint, please don't hesitate to reach out to him, any member of the NCC staff. We want to make sure that you're comfortable with all the tools that are available. You see it on here again. I'm a big fan of branding. So make sure that you order your materials. Like Nolan said, most things are going to require at least a month's lead time. So get your orders in sooner rather than later. If you need help with the logo, your messaging, etc., please reach out to us now so we can run that through compliance and make sure everything's wrapped up real nice and tight, and nice little bow on top for you. And this is a personal favorite as well. Plan out your days and make your cheat sheets. Anything that I write down, I'm going to remember pretty much forever. It's like little elephant brain. But cheat sheets are very helpful. If you're in a situation where there's just so much new stuff, having one place to go and refer to a bunch of information in a manner that makes the most sense to you is going to make your life a million times easier. Having a game plan to your days during the busiest season of the year is going to make your life so much easier. So please use a schedule. I live and die by my iPhone schedule. It syncs up to Outlook, Google, everything else. It does make my life easier because every morning I know what I got to do. And Brandon's seen my desk before. Cheat sheets are an understatement. I got Post-its all over the place, everything. So do whatever makes the most sense to you in your brain. But planning it out and making those cheat sheets, I promise, will be helpful.
Yeah, I'll be honest. If you saw Courtney's office right now, she looks like the meme of the guy that has all the stuff put up on the wall with the strings going back and forth, and he's trying to explain everything. That's trying to keep up with Courtney's schedule right now with rollouts going on, carriers exiting networks. I mean, it's a fun thing.
It is. It's like those crime scene people that have all the maps and everything else, but it works for me. Figure out what works best for you guys, and make it work even better by doing it on a constant basis. So please keep that in mind as you go through your days and we get busier and busier.
Courtney, before we leave this screen, one thing that I do want to say on a couple of these bullet points on the e-apps, absolutely, Enrollment Central is by far one of the best tools that we have available for you. We do have a training coming up next Thursday. You can go to our event calendar at nccagent.com and sign up for that. It's a whole hour where we go through setting up your agent profile, adding a contact, sending a scope, quoting plans, sending those via email, doing an enrollment on the Sandbox site. We go live through the whole thing. So that's great. The other thing I would say on the e-apps is also make sure you're familiar with your carrier websites as well. Sometimes, as great a tool as Enrollment Central is, sometimes because it's technology, there's a hiccup. And you might be in a situation where for some reason, Enrollment Central isn't working, an RTS ready to sell is not showing up, and you would need to log into that carrier portal. What we don't want to have happen is you be in front of a beneficiary and you don't remember your username and password for your carrier portals because you haven't logged in months, right? So make sure you're familiar with how to log in, where the app is, how to go through the app, both through Enrollment Central, but also in the individual carrier site, just in case you need to use that as a backup. It happens every year during AEP. Something happens, and you know, Enrollment Central, for some reason, like I said, UHC is a big proponent here where their RTS doesn't show up for the day. So all the RTSs are not in the system. Agents can't see ready to sell. They can't see UHC plan on Sunfire for some reason, but they can still log into UHC's website, go through Jarvis, and go that route. But me being the procrastinator that I am, I haven't logged into Jarvis in quite some time. So it would take me a minute to find my username, my password. I might have to click reset my password. We have to go through that. So make sure before you head out for the day, you've logged into whatever websites you might need for the day, and have those ready to go so that you save yourself some time. And then lastly, when Courtney was talking about making a schedule, I'm big on self-care as well. As you're making your schedule, block time out to actually eat, right? That sounds weird, but we are so busy during AEP. It's a short time, but we are running, sun up to sundown. And if we don't take care of ourselves, we may not make it all the way to the end of AEP because we might get sick, or we might, just have to take some time off, and we don't really want that. So take some time to schedule lunch at least, or schedule dinner, breakfast, whatever it is, but schedule some time for yourself to actually eat, and actually eat food. I know I'm kind of sounding like a dad here, but real food if you can. If you have to go through a drive-through, that's fine too, but at least you're eating something, keeping yourself nourished, keeping yourself rolling. Drink your water, and you'll make it all the way through to the end of AEP. I'm off my soapbox there, Courtney.
I guess my coffee and granola bars not the option to take.
No, I mean, hey, we all need coffee for sure. I am a pot a day drinker. That's not the best in the world, but I have to have it every day. So yes, coffee is fine. Granola is great too. At least it's something, right?
Solid win. I'll take it. All right, guys, these are helpful compliance reminders during AEP. Everything that you guys should be familiar with already. If it's a sales call, record it. Make sure that if you're using the word Medicare in any of your advertising, it is used compliantly. You are unfortunately not a Medicare expert. That's not something that you want to use, even though you probably are, and you probably know more than most of the people who are actually putting out all the regulations. But don't use that. Keep it as generic as possible, and don't use Medicare lookalikes. That's typically a big no-no as well. Scope of appointment does need to be done 48 hours in advance, if possible. If your client is walking in, that's not really possible. If it's the last 4 days of an enrollment period, that is also something CMS says we don't have to do. There is currently a bill out there that could potentially take this away. We don't know how that's going to end up, but right now the rule is 48 hours in advance, if at all possible. Educational events, you can do a ton of different stuff. You don't have to educate somebody on Medicare. You can do like sit and be fit. You can do, what to do with your IRA. You can do a bunch of different things. If it's something that you feel is top of mind for a senior, and you're not going to talk about plan specific information, it is an educational event. And that's exactly how sales events differ. Sales events talk about plan and carrier specific information. So those are your two biggest differentiators. If you're talking about plan and carrier specific information, we're going to need some approvals there. If you are educating the masses, then you have a lot more availability, but you can't sell at an educational event. You can only do that at a sales event. So those are your main differences there. If you want to get into the nitty gritty about events and which one you think is going to be the most beneficial to you and your clients, again, your sales development managers, myself, Brandon, any member of the national contracting staff is here to talk to you about your specific wants and how we can make those work for you. All right. My goal is to always be extremely respectful of your time. So I'm going to go through this a little bit quick. We're also going to touch on a lot of these in our town hall at the end of the month. So these are some of the things that are changing for 2026. A lot of plans are going to pass on the Part D deductible to the clients. Some of them are doing that in tiers 3, 4, and 5. Others are starting at tier 1. Any drug, you're going to have to pay that deductible first. So please, again, make sure you understand your plan designs. Make sure you're doing drug lookups for your clients. It's going to be extremely important. Keep in mind that the 2026 max out of pocket on a drug plan is $2,100. And that deductible goes towards that max out of pocket. So please keep that in mind as well. You are going to see more HMO-based plans. We've lived in a PPO world for a long time. HMOs are going to be the plan winners, with my air quotes that you can't see, this year. A lot of areas are going to go to HMO. It means you're going to have to pay more attention to networks and be familiar with your doctor lookups. We're used to, as salespeople, using the food card amounts a lot, probably a lot more than we ever should have. Those aren't available for everybody anymore. Extra benefits, specifically food cards, healthy needs, healthy choice, whatever you'd like to call it, those are going to need to be tied to a chronic illness. So even if it is a DSNP plan, so dual eligible special needs, that typically is somebody who is on Medicaid. If they don't have a chronic illness, they might not get those extra benefits. Chronic illnesses, they're used pretty loosely, and a lot of carriers are going to accept a lot of different chronic illnesses, all of which are clearly noted within your summary of benefits. And David, I saw your
Courtney,
hand up.
yeah, Courtney, is the chronic illness from, let's just pick WellCare, United, all the insurance companies. Will they use the same chronic list, or are they different for each company?
So they could differ by company as to
Okay.
what they're going to accept.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. And sorry, it's starting to storm here. So if you just heard the boom of the thunder, that's exactly what that was. But you're also going to see a lot more C-SNP plans. We're used to some markets having 30, 40 different D-SNP plans. You're going to see a lot more carriers ebb over into the C-SNP world, the chronic needs, special needs plans. So be ready for that. Unfortunately, in the dual population, a lot of those people do suffer from a chronic illness. So that same population is going to ebb and flow in those same two plans in large part. Chronic special needs will also cover people in higher incomes. So it will give them a chance to live healthier, with some more managed care options available to them as well. I think my friend Brandon might have got stormed out and dropped off. But those are some of the more major changes that you are going to see. You are going to get a lot of questions from your clients, just in large part because of everything that is out there in media, etc. So please be prepared and answer their questions. Be direct with them. I think that that's probably the best way to build a really good reputation, is straightforward, direct answers, and let them know that you understand their concerns and you're there for them, and you're going to do it in a manner that's easily understood for them and their needs. But again, we'll go through this in a lot more detail in our town hall, in like 10 days. So coming up pretty quick towards the end of the month as well. And I think that it does. See, it wraps us up and it's before 4 o'clock. So I want to open this up to you guys. If there's something that you're concerned about, something that you're super excited about, or something that you need help with, please take the opportunity, jump off mute, type in whatever is easiest for you. We'd love to talk to you.
Courtney, I just have a quick question here. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, so with changes with Anthem, they're getting rid of their, the HMOs. You have to do paper applications, and then the plan in Georgia, and Molina and Humana, all these insurance companies. Are you seeing some of the companies closing up, or like not expanding as much, or like a couple of them that are on their way out of the Medicare market, with like Medica leaving? What do you see in the industry just overall on the companies?
Sure. So the best thing that I can say that seems to have held true through this year is plans that were made non-commissionable last year. So if they were made non-commissionable in 2025, they're haven't been available in 2026. So they did that to kind of stop the bleeding, if you will, on plans that were crazy high loss ratios. So in 2026, those plans are either going to need to be rewritten or they're going to crosswalk onto something else. So that is the one thing that I can say that we kind of predicted at the beginning of this year that has definitely held true. Those non-commissionable plans are on their way out. I don't think you're going to see any of the major carriers go out of business, anything like that. Sonder was a surprise in Georgia, but their benefits were insanely rich, and they picked up way more enrollment than they ever expected, which was something that happened with Anthem in Georgia, and why they made that quick decision to go non-commissionable. So I think between the HMO passing along the drug deductibles and the lowering of the added benefits and keeping those compliantly with chronic illnesses, I think a lot of people will be okay in the long run, Scott. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
So have we gotten any rates on the PDPs for this new year? So WellCare's been the low player, Cigna has been second, Humana's been third. Do we expect to see that same thing in the new year 26?
I think you'll see
I did hear
increase.
Aetna's only going to offer one plan.
Yes. And I do think that you'll see pricing go up, even on the lower cost WellCare plans. I don't know how sustainable their current pricing is. But I think that same tier might be it, depending on your medication. So WellCare, Cigna, Humana, United Healthcare, Aetna, those are going to probably be your major carriers, and it might be somewhat in that order, depending on the drugs.
Yep. Okay.
Rachel, if you're trying to talk, I can tell because you're lit up, but I can't hear you, unfortunately.
Oh, can you
There
hear
you
me
go.
now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is my first year as an independent, actually, and my first year with you guys for AEP. But I had a question with plans that do crosswalk. Do we get those directly from the carriers?
So yeah, the carrier broker managers are going to be your best resource on what plan is crosswalking to what.
Okay.
If you have a book of business that's moving, you'll retain your AOR. It's just nice to not have to go out and re-enroll those people if that plan they're moving to is still the best for them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. If you need anything whatsoever, all of us at National Contracting Center are here to help you grow, help you get your questions answered, and make sure that you have everything you need for not only a successful AEP, but in order to run a very successful business as well. So please give us a call. We're happy to help. We look forward to talking with you and seeing you soon. Have a great day.